So what does this latest explosion of calls for finding alternatives to policing have in common with teaching and coaching? Hmm? I've been thinking about this a lot, and I want to address a number of different parts of this question during my videos in the month of July. Hi, everybody. My name is Gretchen Wegner. I am an academic life coach centered in Oakland, California. And something that you may not know about me is that I have been spending the last year attending a learning series all about investigating alternatives to policing. We've looked at the history of policing. We have looked at understanding race and policing, and we have done very specific kinds of practical trainings about how we as community members can step in and support each other's safety so that we don't have to rely on the police as much. So I've been doing that for the last year, and it turns out that this summer of 2020, is a summer where there's an explosion of calls to defund the police, right? And so as I've been scaling up my own learning around all of this, I just attended a training this last weekend that I'll tell you about in a moment. I have been noticing that there are some conditions for the community that people who believe in alternatives to policing are calling for. And these are the same kind of conditions that those of us who are educators and academic coaches are increasingly calling for in school environments and also family environments and learning environments. I'm fascinated by what I'm noticing, and I'm going to be dedicating the month of July to having these short little videos that are tiny little learning nuggets that help show the bridge between the kind of communities that are being called for in alternative to policing and school communities. So the first thing that I want to share today is I'm noticing that a lot of language that's being used by the organizations calling for using community support rather than policing to handle difficult situations are grounded in something called self-determination theory. Now, self-determination theory says that there are 3 conditions that need to be present for motivation. And certainly motivation is a really important topic. Teachers are asking me all the time, how do I motivate my students? And gosh, parents ask me the same thing too. So according to this theory, the 3 things need to be present as conditions for the highest level of motivation. You know, you might be able to use rewards, for an example, to motivate a student. But if you're really looking for the highest levels of motivation that have the longest term impact, students and people in general need a sense of autonomy in their environment, that they have control over their environment. They need competency, so that they feel like they can handle, they are good at the types of things that are being asked of them, they are capable of. And then I spelled this wrong, but relatedness is what I meant to say here. And they need to have a sense of connection with the people who they are in community with. So the training that I went to this last weekend was a training given by an organization in Sacramento, a brand new organization as of the summer of 2020, called Mental Health First. And what they're doing is training volunteers to be first responders, so that community members, like if you're hearing a domestic dispute in an apartment or a house nearby, or if there's somebody out on the street, I'm looking out at the street right now, who is being loud and clearly having some kind of mental break episode, that the police don't need to be the first person to be called, because you know that this organization has on-call volunteers who are specifically trained in how to respond to the situation. I'm putting the link to this organization down below in case you're curious about that. So I noticed as I was attending the training how much of their languaging was talking about the importance of helping, like when you step in to intervene, helping the person feel like they have some autonomy, they are competent, that they have some relatedness to you. And I'm fascinated by not only how I can learn how to be a better community member, but also how teachers in classrooms and coaches in coaching sessions and parents in households can, how we all can embrace this way of being. Are we creating the conditions in which the people in our communities, whether they're little people, medium people, teenagers, or big people, have autonomy, competence, and relatedness? I'll be investigating more of this in more depth in future videos, but I hope this is interesting and helpful, and I'm always open to feedback about if you want to build on my ideas or critique my ideas at Gretchen@GretchenWegner.com. I love email from listeners. So I'll see you next week. Bye.